are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked on Cowboys. Locked on Cowboys.
I am Marcus Mosher. He is Landon McCool, and we are Locked On Cowboys. Landon, we got a big Cowboy win to talk about. The Dallas Cowboys win 43-3 over the Falcons on Sunday. I think we should start with this. I feel like I deserve a little bit of responsibility for this one. Right? I picked the Falcons to win on our Friday show, so I get at least a little bit of credit, right?
I mean, a little bit. You get all the credit. I'm really surprised that we didn't hear more from Dak and Mike McCarthy after the game.
I know.
Thanking you.
Waiting. I never heard it. It's okay.
It's. I'm assuming they said it off camera when no one was looking. Probably.
That's fine. I actually want to start with this. We've got a lot to get into today, but I believe it was on our Monday show. One of the things I said is we are going to learn a lot about this Cowboys team in this game against the Falcons after being blown out by Denver at home. Do they let this game kind of linger? Do they come out flat again? And I think we learned a lot, Landon. Like, it's pretty clearly that game was a fluke, right? They just didn't play well. I love how this team responded. Like, from the opening drive, it was, hey, we are going to win this game, and we're going to go for it on fourth downs, and we're going to embarrass you, Atlanta. I think the Cowboys did, just almost a perfect game in every single phase. It just, what a performance by this team.
Yeah, this was exactly how you draw it up, especially for the way that the Cowboys want to win a game. Aggressive and going out early. I think they were 4 for 5 in their first opening 5 drives on touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that'll get you out to a good start. And I think, making teams chase you in the pass game is a good formula for this defense. It really lets it kind of shine the way that it wants to. And obviously the story of the game is going to be about the offense, but I think, again, the defense had a masterful performance as well. I think they ended up 1 of 11 on third downs and 0 of 2 on fourth downs. So
you said the story's going to be about the offense. I actually disagree. I thought the defense was more impressive because we know the offense can do that, right? Like, going into this game, the Cowboys had a big advantage on their offense against Atlanta's defense. Like, Atlanta's defense is not good. We both said on our Friday show, like, this is a game Dallas should score 30 points. Now, they scored 43 in this one, but we expected that. I don't think – we certainly didn't expect 3 points in this game. And do you know that Matt Ryan, when he played, never had a third down conversion in this game? Not a one.
Yeah, totally crazy. And, it's funny because we talked about it, this defense is good. The way they win is turnovers or their ability to get, teams into third downs and then get off the field on third downs through exotic packages. This game was just kind of a huge package of both. You got the 3 turnovers, the 0 for, I think it was, like I said, 1 for 11 on third downs. So when you do both, it's going to make it really hard on the other team to score points. And then you add in the pressure, the complementary football aspect where the offense is putting pressure on their team to score. They started pressing, and then other things start rolling your way. It's special teams, the blocked punt, some others, just other special teams cues. I mean, just little things like such like Goodwin getting that tackle in open field and keeping Atlanta on that side of the field on that punt. And
he's incredible, by the way. If you love special teams play, he is so much fun.
He's the guy you study. He's getting very close to some of those Kenny Gant level all timer Bill Bates time of special teamers. So with the Cowboys, so it was just one of those games where things started rolling downhill for the Cowboys, and then suddenly all 3 phases were clicking like that, and it was incredible to see obviously, like I said, what this defense was able to do with the who they had to play with, without Randy Gregory, without DeMarcus Lawrence, obviously still, it was really impressive to see. And it didn't look like it was going to start out. It started out not looking like it was going to.
No, they didn't force a third down until, basically the Falcons just walked the ball down the field. They finally did force a third down, forced them to get a field goal. And then that was basically it. That was the entire Atlanta offense the entire day.
And I can't remember the last time that a team, pulled that I saw a game where the team pulled their quarterback when they were down, going into the fourth quarter, basically. So, Yeah, it really was. It started to get away from them, especially near the end of the second quarter. I think the Cowboys scored 29 points in the second quarter, and that was basically the ball game. I
Did
mean,
you know that
it
that's
was,
a record for the most points ever in a quarter by the Cowboys?
I mean, I knew that it was. If it wasn't, it had to be in the top 2 or 3 because that's just absolutely outrageous.
And the
So
difference is they've scored 28 a couple different times, but when you score 29, it's that extra 1 point, right? Because most of the time, if you score 4 touchdowns, you're just kicking 4 extra points. But it's that extra 1 point, never been done in Cowboys history before. So very, very impressive. I actually want to keep talking about the defense because,
yeah.
man, there's so many different storylines in this game. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys about DirecTV. DirecTV Stream brings you live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, which means you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows all in one place. And the best part, there's no annual contract. So stop waiting and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directtv.com. That is directtv.com. All right, Landon. Let's just start with the big picture stuff. Dan Quinn, my goodness, what a performance by this unit. I no Randy Gregory, no DeMarcus Lawrence, no Neville Gallimore. So you're down 3 of your top, I don't know what you want to say, your top 3 defensive linemen are all out. On top of that, no Brent Urban. So 4 of your top 5, 4 of your top 6. And yet they were able to harass Matt Ryan all day. Ryan finished this game with a 21 quarterback rating, a 9.2 QBR, and 5.6 yards per attempt. Just an incredible job by Dan Quinn. How did he do it?
Yeah, I mean, he did it both ways, right? He had great coverage in the back end. I mean, I think Anthony Brown, Jordan Lewis, and Trayvon Diggs, obviously each one of them getting an interception, but obviously deserve kudos for how they played throughout the game. Just really, really good sticky coverage. It didn't give Matt Ryan a ton of options. And kudos to Quinn for dialing up a lot of different types of formations and pressures. Armstrong got his sack when he was lining up as a 3 technique and just got a simple swim move on the rookie and got a clean look to the quarterback. Parsons got his as just on a linebacker blitz. They were able to economically, I think, send pressures at good times and able to get people free at home. And when they didn't, some of the guys on the inside, Odigizua, you saw a little bit of Tristan Hill kind of mixing it up a little bit too in the interior.
I kind of forgot that he doesn't wear gloves or anything. He's got
the
least of the swag of anybody.
It's
on
so clean.
line.
Yeah, it's just like it's so crazy. It's funny to see, but he was getting the movement and he was getting inside and making causing some issues. So I mean, I think hopefully the Cowboys can continue to apply that kind of pressure week to week without Lawrence and Gregory. I don't know if it's fair to expect it necessarily, but I do like the way that Quinn was able to not play defense without having to feel like you had to blitz on every down, and they did it kind of wisely and at key moments, and they were able to do it in such a way that it complemented the coverage. And again, I think it's really telling a guy like Matt Ryan. He's a veteran in the good way. He understands how to get away from pressures. He understands how to move around in the pocket. He's been really good this year at negotiating a pocket with pressure. And I think he just the Cowboys were able to contain that. And I think that bodes well for what we're heading into for this next little stretch with some solid to extremely good quarterbacks. And who without our top 2 pass rushers.
So we're live on YouTube right now, and a lot of people are asking us about how Tristan Hill played and how Chauncey Golston played. We'll save some of that for our all 22 review.
Yeah,
maybe on Tuesday after we get some time to watch the tape, because it's so hard to tell just based off the broadcast. But I promise you we'll talk about those guys later on in the week. But one defender that we have to talk about, Landon, Jordan Lewis. I think you and I were both a little shocked when the Cowboys brought back Jordan Lewis on a 3-year deal this offseason. We weren't sure how he fit into Dan Quinn's scheme. He doesn't really have the size that he typically looks for in a cover 3 cornerback. But I've got to say, he's had a nice season so far, and this is by far the best game I've ever seen him play. Not only did he have a really nice interception, but 3 other pass breakups to either get Atlanta off the field or get them into a long 3rd down. I just have never. I mean, you can go back to maybe that Saints game in 2018
Yeah.
where he was guarding Kamara. I actually think
Mhm.
he was better in this game. It's the best I've ever seen him
Yep.
play.
Yeah, starting to have to say that how much do you we were already kind of blaming Nolan a lot, but how much more do you lean into Nolan now that you see the kind of season that Anthony Brown's had so far, the kind of season that
Jeez.
Jordan Lewis, frankly, has had pretty much overall? And then I'll even go a step further. I don't know if people are watching Cincinnati, but Chidobe Awuzie is having a pretty good
Yeah,
season
he's a
over
good
there
player.
as well. So, I'm starting to wonder if maybe some of these guys are better players than they kind of had shown last year.
And
So,
Chris Westry is starting for the Ravens, by the way,
yeah,
right now.
yeah, exactly. So, I think that this defensive backfield really has played good football. I mean, I think Anthony Brown, for the most part, has played good football throughout the season. The first game is the first game against one of the best wide receiver cores in football, and Tom Brady. But I think outside of that, Anthony Brown has had a very, very good season. Jordan Lewis has been a little bit up and down, but that's to be expected for your third corner, and I think he certainly has earned his spot. And then you start to see, just outside of the Diggs getting his 8th interception. I mean, that's kind of burying the lead. And then outside of that, we should talk about the fact that, we had one rookie cornerback get a touchdown on special teams off a block punt. And then another rookie quarterback who got in there, got some snaps, got a pass deflection, did a really great job on a go route. And so, the defensive backfield for the Cowboys, which, we basically came into the season kind of holding our breath over, has really developed into a nice kind of little deep group that is not, at least not embarrassing to us, which it had been at several points during the season last year.
Let's talk about the special teams because, man, a lot of people don't love that Bones Fossil is aggressive. And I get it, right? You can get penalties like we saw earlier in the season, but that's 3 block punts the Cowboys already have this season. You saw it today. That block punt was, it sealed the game. I mean, the game was already basically over, but when Dorrance Armstrong blocked it and they recovered it in the end zone, you just knew it was over. I don't know if you saw this stat, Landon, but the Cowboys have now had 3 block punts this season. During the Jason Garrett era from 2010 to 2019, they blocked 1 punt. And I'll venture to guess this isn't the last block punt the Cowboys will have on the season. So, they're just finding ways to be aggressive and make plays on special teams. And that's the difference between good teams and potentially great teams.
Yeah. And I'll throw in one more, too, that Dorrance Armstrong is the first player in Cowboys history to have a sack and a blocked punt. And he's the last player to have a sack and a blocked punt since Terrell Basham with the 2018 New
Really?
York Jets.
I didn't know that. That's fascinating.
I saw that as well. That was pretty interesting. So
that's pretty cool.
It's again, complimentary football works this way where, confidence built on your teammates, putting your other groups into good position to succeed. And the other thing too is that the Cowboys are, if you saw, when they're winning and they're playing well, they're getting such great contribution from their down roster guys. Like Jordan Lewis, we talked about, obviously. He's
Wright on special teams this week. This week.
Armstrong obviously had an incredible game. If you just based on what I said,
sure.
Golson having that huge pass deflection on the line, and so and just good play from some of these down roster guys. I mean, when the Cowboys don't have to just rely only on their superstars, and clearly in this case, you've got 2 of your superstars who aren't even playing. Yeah. So you don't even have them on the field. So when the Cowboys are able to get contributions from across the board from their roster. Well, first of all, it just makes for good football. It makes for more reliable playmaking on the defense. But beyond that, too, you come out of these games mostly unscathed due to injury, right? Because they were able to spread the snaps out across a whole bunch of players. Yep. They're not overworking anybody, despite the fact that they have injuries, especially at the defensive line position. And they're able to get good snaps and not fear for their lives when they're rolling out their third defensive line, because they feel like these guys have had experience, they've had play time, they feel like they can trust them to go out there and just not embarrass themselves on the field.
I just counted as you were talking, 23 different players for the Cowboys recorded a tackle in this game.
Yeah, I think 10 different players got catches on offense too. So
we're going to talk about one of those guys that got a catch on offense in just a little bit. Don't you worry.
Oh boy, good. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, just to kind of just to put a pin in that point, though, just getting contributions across the board from your team, it helps spread the snaps and help spread the kind of wear and tear that goes on through the season. It just keeps you fresher to the end of the season.
I agree. This Cowboys team is going to live and die by being aggressive. They were aggressive on defense today. They were aggressive on special teams. They were aggressive on offense going forward on how many fourth downs. And they were living today, Landon. It was a good day to be a Cowboy fan. So we're going to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the Cowboys offense. But I wanted to tell you guys about Bet Online. Man, it was a good week for gambling. If you bet on the Cowboys to cover that 8-9 point spread, I'm sure you are very happy right now. I hope you use Bet Online because it remains the number one spot for all the basketball and football action this season. Head to the new updated desktop or mobile site to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use promo code LOCKEDON to receive your bonus. From basketball, football, baseball, postseason, NHL, boxing, and UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for the 2021 season. Bet Online is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. Also, I want to tell you guys about Built Bar. It's the best tasting protein bar out there. It's real chocolate, amazing flavors. It's just a great combination of low calories, high protein, and low sugar with no crazy additives. Best of all, they taste fantastic. Go to BuiltBar.com and use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your next box at BuiltBar.com. All right, Landon, let's talk about the Cowboys offense. They scored 43 points today. A little help to the special teams. They scored a touchdown. Dak Prescott, 24 of 31 for 296 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, as well as a rushing touchdown. But that is not the story of this game. It is Sean McCool caught 2 passes for 15 yards. Where do you think he'll rank all-time in tight ends? Next to Gronk and Kellen Winslow Sr.?
I mean, well above those guys before he's done. In 2055, when Sean McCool is still playing football and still catching touchdowns,
I was so excited.
We're not even going to remember.
He's the next Dalton Schultz. But let's be for real. Prescott was just on the money today. He had one throw early in the game that might have been almost an interception to Eric Harris. After that, flawless. Like, I don't think you can have another play where it's like, he should have made this read here. He had a couple drops, but otherwise just absolutely killed it today.
Yeah, just and not surprising. I think we all expected Dak to bounce back. I mean, watching the tape of him, it was clear that when he was throwing off, that his footwork wasn't clean. It wasn't a case of him forgetting how to play football or him not knowing what he's looking at or there being some kind of blueprint. You go and watch the game. It's like it's him having his feet not pointing the right direction. It's him not having his feet in the ground and the ball sailing in on him. It's him throwing
why that last 2 drives mattered against Denver.
Yeah, exactly. And it's him not, and again, not just for him, right? Like it's him throwing a perfect ball and then having a wide receiver drop it. And that was another thing that wasn't happening in this game, is that you just saw a much more locked in wide receiver core. The only person who maybe had a couple drops or something that didn't look good was Gallup, who again also is just coming back. This is his first game, but I thought Lamb looked fantastic. Cooper had a couple different looks, and he converted on the ones that he did. I think Schultz kind of had a lighter game, but I think they were winning on the outside. I think that McCarthy said after the game that they were 5 for 5 of their first 5 man coverage opportunities against our wide receivers. So I think everybody just was a lot more locked in. I mean, honestly, that's the key to this game versus last week. It's just that everybody was cleaner. Everybody was more locked in. When this team doesn't beat itself, they beat the teams they play. And so that's kind of where we are. It'll be a different story when they play some of the upper echelon teams. Then they have to play clean games and they have to make plays. But against teams like Denver and Atlanta, where the Cowboys are the more talented team on paper, it's just one of the cases that if Cowboys can get out of their own way and just do what they're supposed to do and play aggressive, score points, they make it really hard for teams to keep up with them and to score with them. And they are a very, very difficult offense to score because, as everyone says, they can do everything well.
Let's talk about Michael Gallup, because on the surface he had, I believe I'm looking at 3 catches for 42 yards on 5 targets. Now, the first thing you notice is on the scramble drills, I kind of think Gallup is the best receiver they have on the scramble drills. Like you saw it was it the 4th down play, getting his feet in bounds. Like he's just so good in that area. But the effect that he has in this offense is big because You saw it with CeeDee Lamb today. When you have Gallup who can play on the outside, all of a sudden CeeDee Lamb goes to the slot. And CeeDee Lamb in this game had 8 opportunities, 7 targets, 1 carry. He had 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. He just killed him. And he was super efficient because now CD is getting your third best defensive back from the slot, and it's almost impossible to stop him there. So I know Gallup's stats weren't big, but what he does for this offense is so important. It's why it makes him so dynamic. And I'm just glad to see him back out there after not seeing him the last 2 months.
Yeah, and the element that he brings too as a contested ball catcher too, I think is huge, because it just gives Dak another guy who he can reliably throw the ball up to in tight spaces and trust that he's going to come down with the ball, and that's, you said it, when he's in the middle of a scramble drill, he just needs Gallup to have a little bit of daylight, and if he can get just a little bit of daylight, that's enough for Dak to put the ball into him. It's just, a lot on those scramble drills, especially. He's just like a blankie to Dak, and especially if he gets the opportunity and the defense is not paying attention, like, he'll go deep. And when he gets just a step, all he needs is a step to go deep. And he's one of the best deep ball catchers in all of the NFL. So yeah, I think it was a good first game back for a guy that has missed almost the entire season so far. I can't wait to see what he's got for the rest of the year.
I'm going to verify this next question from Greg. He said, how did Terrence Steele look? They turned the game off at halftime on the East Coast. They did. This game was such a blowout. I've never seen them turn the game off this early on the East Coast. But it was
a Cowboys game?
Oh, I mean, it was over. So they were flipping back and forth to some other games that were a little bit more interesting. But again, this is one where we're going to go back and watch the film to really see how Steele looked. But just from the broadcast,
oh yeah,
he looks so much better, and we knew he would, right? Like, we knew after a full week of practice, he would look better. And I've got to assume now, Landon, after calming down and settling down a little bit, that the Cowboys will probably be okay resting Tyron at least one more game to potentially get him ready for Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, I mean, that game against Vegas looms large just because you got to deal with some serious dudes on that defensive line there. Not as much with Kansas City. I mean, I think I'm not sure if Frank Clark's status is, but he's been kind of, he's back. He's been bad all season. So obviously Ingram's there now. So that could be a situation that he'll have to deal with that. But honestly, Ingram's not a guy that is still a premier pass rusher. He's a good pass rusher. I think Steele can at least not embarrass himself there. But yeah, I think it's progression. He needed to look good against these defensive ends for the Falcons, because outside of Fowler, they really don't have anybody. So he needed him to look at least decent against these guys, because he's got some more challenging matchups as they come the next few weeks before time.
Speaking of offensive linemen, I cannot wait until you get to the All-22 film for a couple different reasons, Landon. But there's one play where Connor McGovern was lined up as a fullback, and he ran a little just underneath route. My favorite part is he claps like, "I'm open, Dak. Throw it to me.
Do it to me. Give it to me, man."
But it's so good.
I saw that. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, now that we're kind of talking garbage time stuff, I'm excited to see the Connor McGovern, Matt Farniak snaps that they got in, just simply because, it's their first few snaps to get in kind of at those spots. I think that Farniak is a guy that will develop. I think he's an interesting little player. I'm very interested to see Connor McGovern as a center. So I think, those snaps will be, there's only a handful of snaps, but I think that'll be fun. Honestly, I mean, having rewatched the condensed version of this game, it's just like it's like eating a red velvet cake. It's almost too rich. It's almost too sweet and delicious to eat all in one sitting. I actually had to pause at different points because I was getting too giddy. This was a really, really exciting game to watch, and I guess really, Cowboys don't get a lot of 10 o'clock games or early games, I guess I should say, since not everyone's on the West Coast. But it's always awesome when they do and they win, because you get the rest of the day to just, kind of leisurely watch football and feel really good about how your team did, and certainly make fun of the teams that aren't doing as well as you.
Just really quickly to tie up the show. It was a good day for the Cowboys in the NFC. The Cardinals lost, Tampa Bay lost, Green Bay did win, but Seattle's basically out of the playoff picture now. I mean, we knew the Cowboys were going to be at the very worst of 4 seed. They're going to win their division, even though Washington and Philadelphia won today. But their odds of actually winning the number 1 seed have gone dramatically up after the losses to Tampa Bay and Arizona. We talked about this last week, Landon. Like, yes, the number 1 seed is the goal. But the goal here is really to avoid being the 4 seed because you don't want to play either the Rams or Arizona in the first round of the playoffs. I don't know how much of the games you watched of like the Saints today. The Saints look pretty bad against the
they look bad.
Yeah, and then you're going to play. I mean, another playoff team could very well be like the Vikings, who the Cowboys beat with Cooper Rush. It could be the Panthers, who are going to be playing Cam Newton probably at quarterback. Getting this win and having some of those other teams lose was very, very big for the Cowboys. So enjoy that part of this as well, as much as the Cowboys winning on Sunday. All in all, pretty good Week 10 for Dallas.
Yeah, and if you're watching this live right now, make sure that you're checking out the Sunday night game because obviously, like you've mentioned before, it's a really good preview for exactly what the Cowboys are going to face coming up here in the next 10 days.
Next 10 days, Chiefs and Raiders. Both teams have some very unusual skill sets. The Chiefs can really throw the ball down the field. The Raiders can really rush the passer. Make sure you're getting a good glimpse of that. So that is it for today's show. We'll be back on Tuesday. I'm thinking, Landon, we might be able to do some All-22 stuff on Tuesday. Wednesday, we'll do questions. Thursday, we'll have our crossover show. And then Friday, of course, we'll do our preview show. A busy, busy week here in the Locked On Cowboys podcast. But the 7-2 Cowboys, we'll take that, Landon. That's not a bad start to the season, right?
Absolutely. Go Cowboys. That's really start to finish. Good start to the season. I mean, and here we go into November. Bill Parcells always said, you don't really know who this team is until they go into November. Honestly, they could lose these next 2 games, still be 7-4. I feel pretty decent about where this team is heading. I'm not predicting that, but I think we feel pretty good at where we are with still 2 games to go into Thanksgiving.
Do you know how many teams the Cowboys play with a winning record after these next 2 games?
1, right? Arizona,
1. The Cardinals, 1.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this. Let's finish strong, guys.
Let's finish strong. All right, you can follow Landon at McCool BCB. You can follow the show at Locked On Cowboys. I'm at Marcus_Mosher. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. Enjoy the Monday night game, and we'll see you guys next time.